Right, third attempt. I'm not going to quote this book word for word. I'm going to give a brief outline because I think it is necessary. This is not an exposure of a cult. This is just an outline of this book. As I said, this is someone's intellectual property. I'm not going to go word for word with it. If you want to know more about it, go and buy one. Right, and this was released 1989. That date is rather important. What does this do? It outlines 9 laws of magic. Within lies fact and fancy, truth and metaphor. What that means is you can take this as mentalism, mental influence, or perhaps I should say or you can view this as a form of mysticism, or both, essentially. So let's get into this. A little Baroque there. Is that Baroque? Not sure, never mind. First law, reality is democratic. If the number of entities believing something to be true is an effective majority, then their beliefs can alter the reality of all participating entities, essentially meaning people, etc., to animals and plants, I suppose, apart from their own individual beliefs. A consensus reality, that's not particularly new. Let's just dive down past this as quickly as possible. I really need a pause button on this. Communicating, yeah. Second law of magic, deceiving and leveraging. This is important. By tricking another into believing what is desired, that falsehood can act as a springboard to alter the structure of reality. More likely society. And then you've got the thing about being the father of lies. Mentions something about every person you tell your desired reality to, the chances of it double or quadruple, I don't quite recall. Anyway, moving on as swiftly as possible, on to the next one. Renaming and reframing. The context in which one perceives something determines the nature of what it becomes for that person. That one I would probably have to read through, but I'm not going to because I said I wouldn't. My interpretation of that is a situation. I suppose you could look at it as a biased media outlet. Something is what it is. Here are the facts. This is how we would like you to perceive those facts. I'm trying to think of an example off the top of my head, but I can't at the moment, so we'll just move on to the next one. Come on. Fourth law, naming and commanding. By treating physical objects and situations as conscious entities. That's not really anything new, but well, like I said, this book is like over 30 years old. Anyway, by treating objects and situations as conscious entities, one can cause them to respond to direct commands. Yeah, again, this goes back to the idea of that if you know something's name or true name, you can control or command it. This one can go several directions of that and several uses, I suppose. Anyway, moving on. Come on. Fifth law, connecting and patterning. By realizing the illusory nature of time and space, one can bypass their limitations to produce changes in reality. I'm not sure how to interpret this. That goes into the whole idea of this is a simulation, a matrix. That, well, no, actually, this is a determinant. The matrix is the astral. Another conversation for another time. Pardon me, video for another time. Right, okay, moving on. Now, wait a moment. Let me think about this one. It means essentially that there's no distance between you and the next person, and therefore you can sort of be the next person, for example. Right, now, moving forward. Come on. I really need to stop saying it makes me sound like a flipping moron. Yes. Sixth law of magic, forming and filling. Okay, this is interesting. By empowering a vision of a desired future with life force, yes, or psychic energy, if you will, or just willpower, determination, depending on your point of view. Anyway, start again. By empowering a vision of a desired future with life force, reality can be made to manifest that vision. I suppose we'll give that as an example of willpower. You could describe it, I suppose, in Kabbalistic terms of love and will meeting together in Sphere of Tiferet, I suppose. Anyway, this one is a little bit kind of breath of God, I suppose, for people in a more Christian perspective. Breath of God. Well, it's not just Christianity, really, is it? I suppose it's monotheism in general. Right, on to the next one. Oh, where have you gone? Seventh law, opening and expecting. For those who recognise that life is a dream, experience then conforms to authentic emotional expectation. These two, that ties in actually, I think, with the previous one. Well, they all tie in together at some level. Of course, there is that phrase that life is a dream. I don't particularly believe that. I don't think life is a dream. It's I don't think it's a simulation either. It's there's another word that's appropriate here, and it escapes me for the moment for some reason. And I don't mean nightmare either. Oh, nothing like a good cup of tea. Or in this case, chamomile specifically. It's sort of like lucid dreaming. So if you become lucid in reality, then you can direct the dream of reality. You can see how some of these things tie together by now, I suppose. I hope. On to the next one. Where's the 8th? There we go. Oh, it's in here somewhere. 8th law. Dreaming and gathering. By consciously entering the dream state, it is possible to merge with others in their dreams to share a mutual reality. This goes straight back to the first one. Understanding game. Gate. Yeah. This is kind of mixes with astral stuff. That can sort of go into that we live in our own universe in a sense. But again, this is beyond me. Bits of this are beyond me anyway. Right, the 9th and final law in this particular book. Something about life. Oh, have I just missed it? No. Where'd you go? Come on, it's going to be down there somewhere. Well, obviously it is. Interesting. 9th law, dreaming and forgetting. By consciously awakening and ruling one's dreams, the waking world becomes controlled as a dream. Yeah, well, I just said that. I would put this as forward as 9 laws of magic. I think there's a lot. I mean, really, there's probably a lot less. Anyway, now, you might want to ask, why am I putting this out there? Why am I doing this? Why am I just giving an outline of someone's intellectual property? Free advertising, guys. There's a reason. I want you to go back and I want you to read all those popular books about how this is going to happen and that's going to happen in view of this understanding, and in particular the date that this was published. It will open your eyes. You'll see who's who. and where they really stand. That's the reason I put this out there. Hopefully I will be expanding further on the idea of thought forms in relation to this. And as I said, you can look at this as mental influence or as something supernatural. It doesn't matter. The effect is much the same. One example can be considered The Simpsons. Now, and their apparent predictions, you can argue back and forth as to whether or not that's deliberate. I'm not sure. Now, that's one example. But there's also, as I said, those people strutting up and down on stage saying this is planned, that is planned. And as I said in a previous video, it's not, because plans fall apart and crash and burn on that sort of scale. On a much smaller scale, they tend to do that. But get people to believe there's a plan, and then everything just shifts, falls into place. Subconscious psychology, at least. Right. I'll see you in the next one.